If you look at the antivirus gateway configuration, it's fairly simple. There's not much that we need to do for antivirus implementation on the firewall. This is the process. First of all, we need to activate the license, update the signature database. Then we need to configure the antivirus profile. We need to call this profile in the antivirus or in the security policies, which we already know how to configure, and then some other basic configurations if we want to do on the firewall related to antivirus functionality. First of all, we go to object and license management. Go to system, not object. This should be system here. We go to system and we go to license management. In license management, we look at antivirus and we see that the antivirus license is enabled on our firewall, because if the antivirus license is not enabled, obviously we cannot use the antivirus functionality on the firewall. Once this is done, then we need to update the antivirus database, either local update if we download the file, or we can do a live online update of the antivirus signature database. Once this is done, then the major task of configuring the antivirus profile. This is configured in the object, and we go to security profiles. Then we configure the antivirus profile. We add an antivirus profile. We give it a name, and then we select the appropriate protocols for which we want to check, for which we want to do the virus checking and implement antivirus for these protocols. So file transfer protocol or mail transfer protocol or file sharing protocols. And these are the specific protocols: HTTP, FTP, SMTP, POP3, etc. And then which direction we want to implement the antivirus, and what actions we want to take against these types of traffic. The action could be block or alert, etc. And once we have done this, then we could also add exception list, either the application exception list, or we could add a virus exception list. For example, if we are having false positives, which means our firewall is blocking certain traffic, which is not actually a virus, but it thinks it's a virus, that is what we call a false positive. In order to remove false positives, what we can do is that we can add an application exception list, or we can add a virus exception list. For example, if we add an application exception list, we can add an application. We can add an application from a list, and we can say that this is an exception which we want to add, and we could either allow or alert or block that file depending upon the normal behavior we have defined for this type of traffic. This specific traffic is going to get a different behavior. Similarly, if we want to add a virus exception list, we could identify the virus signature ID, or the virus threat ID number. We can add a number here, and then we can define a specific behavior for this type of virus, which is going to be different from the regular behavior which we configured earlier. Once this is done, then we have to configure the security policy. We go to policies, and then we configure the security policy. Whatever security policy we have configured, and do the other configuration for the security policy, at the end we have to select an antivirus profile. If we want to implement antivirus, or if we want to attach antivirus profile to this security policy, we have to select the antivirus profile from here. Whatever antivirus profile we have already configured, we implement or we call that antivirus profile here. Once that is done, then we can do some basic other add-on functionality. We can configure add-on functionality for our antivirus implementation. For example, if we go to system and we configure the information push, this means that if any information or if any virus is detected or if any virus is removed from either the email or the web pages that we are trying to access, if a virus is detected in our emails, or if a virus is detected on a web page, then we could send the information to the user stating that the email has been blocked or the attachment has been removed because it contained virus. Or when we are trying to access a page, we could get the input that the page contains virus, therefore the page cannot be displayed or the HTML file cannot be downloaded. So this is just to make sure that the user gets the information that why their file has been blocked or why the page cannot be displayed. Similarly, as we saw that there is a reputation database which we are building for known files. So if a file has been detected to contain virus, it means its reputation has been compromised or its reputation has been tarnished. So for how long is that file going to live with that reputation? We can configure a maximum time for that reputation, because that reputation has been built. Based on that reputation, we are going to be either blocking that file or we are going to be allowing that file for a period of 30 days, after which that file is going to be re-evaluated against its reputation, and its reputation is going to be redefined basically. So this was all about the antivirus technologies on the Huawei firewall. I hope you understand the basic differences between viruses, worms, and Trojans, and you understand the different antivirus technologies and also how we implement antivirus on Huawei firewalls using antivirus profiles and security policies. So see you with the next topic in the next videos. Thank you.